What is up, Kickstarter? So it's been a few months actually since I've made an actual video update. I like these. I think they're the most organic, and it has been quite a while since I've given you guys just an update in general. So we're going to talk about a lot today, as per usual with my video updates. We're going to talk about changes to the game, and kind of from where we last left off. We're going to talk about what's left before we finally hit the alpha stage, which I know everyone has been really anticipating. And then finally, we've got a couple of other things I want to talk about in regards to kind of where we're going after that, where the project's headed, and kind of so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's go ahead and actually talk about the project itself. And I think I posted a screenshot earlier about this, so you guys have probably seen this already. But there is an updated menu now, so now like whenever you hit the play button, there actually is like a loading thing. You can see that you can join locally, so on and so forth. Someone also mentioned that this disconnect button was going to be in the way. For what it's worth, this button won't stay here. It's just for debugging purposes. So but yeah, there is a brand new menu, and this is pretty much what I'm going to be working with for the next few iterations of this game. I'm pretty comfortable with it, and there is definitely room to add a couple of other things here, but we'll save that for a later date. On top of that, we've added a couple of new cards as well. I need more, but there are 21 cards currently, and I plan on adding at least 30 to 35 before we get in official alpha, so just gonna keep that in mind. I want a couple more options to work with. But you probably noticed a few other things, and this is also a good chance for me to talk about this in person. If you guys have read my text post, then you know that now there are mid-range, aggressive, and control style decks as well. And now, if you can look on the side, there is some art. This is kind of like placeholder art. I just took basically a render of whatever attack it is, but on the top you can also see where the projected attacks land with those little yellow markers. So we'll talk more about that later as well. But yeah, so now there are a few more cards, and I'll show you a couple of other things that have been updated as well. Let me pull up. Where did it go? Oh, there we go. Let me go ahead and pull up another copy of this guy, and then we'll jump into a local game here. Actually, no, we won't. I need cards. I think I had a deck made earlier. We'll just stick with this. That will work. That looks more aggressive than anything. So we'll do that. And this guy will have like little tune cards. So anyways, there are a couple of things that have changed, but this menu is still pretty familiar. I had a couple of things updated since I have last shown you guys this. Obviously, there are new cards as well. You can see some of the items change here depending on how much fuel you have left. And finally, there was the option to remove cards. Some of my friends who were playtesting were complaining that, like, hey, why is that not an option? So, but yeah, other than that, you can see now here that like the damage value is shown on each particular card, and then you can, as you cycle through, they get updated as well. I think I have shown this card already, so like the upper swipe card exists in the game, and I also mentioned, I know there's a lot to talk about here, but so yeah, there's a couple of new cards that are that have been added. So there are things like adding blocks in the game now. There's this card, which I will talk about a lot because this card was busted. But yeah, so there have been a few new additions to the game, and I'm not going to go through all of them just because I'd rather you guys kind of figure out for yourselves. But aside from that, let's talk about the EX system first. So earlier I mentioned that the EX system was busted the first time, and then I mentioned that I was going to change it, and I'm actually going to change it, hopefully, for the last time. So when I originally made the EX system, I had games like Street Fighter in mind, where you would basically use it as a comeback mechanic when things were, when things were kind of going in any which way. You would have a powerful move that you can kind of just, keep in the back of your hand. But for whatever reason, for programming standpoints, it didn't work out, and I decided, let's just make EX a card. So by making EX a card, you would be able to have a damage boost, you would have super armor so you wouldn't flinch while attacking, and that proved, one, to really limit my design space, and two, proved to be really broken. Basically, whenever you would use EX, I noticed that my buddies and I would basically just snowball the game, and you could combo EX with a bunch of small cards and even your auto attacks, and you would just steamroll. So we decided, you know what, that's probably not the best idea. And it was actually during the time where I made that card, and then another card like Icicle Tower, which I don't have currently on here. Oh, this guy has Icicle Tower. We'll use it on my other character. And then Flame Wreath was the other kind of nonsense card. So, Icicle Tower, this card, which if I can actually back up and use it again, that card was a little busted, and then Flame Wreath, which is this card here, both of those were, again, kind of broken. And I remember when we were playtesting, we noticed that, hey, you know what would be really cool on turn 1? If you just Icicle Tower somebody, and then they can't attack for a couple of seconds, and then while they're squirming, you just hit them with other stuff. Even with the sheer amount of fuel that they cost, even while discounting or drastically increasing the price of it, it was still kind of busted on turn 1. So then I decided, you know what if EX would only work on certain cards? And I haven't implemented it yet because I've been working on other things, namely this stupid cube over here. But what if you could only use various cards if you had EX, basically? So that's exactly what they are now. So like Flame Wreath and Icicle Tower will be EX Flame Wreath and EX Icicle Tower, and in order to use them, you have to burn one of your EX meters, which you get by taking 300 damage, and otherwise the card will just fizzle out and you don't get to use it, you just wasted a card. This kind of prevents early game spamming, and don't get me wrong, this style of game and other games like it, like many of you Battle Network fans, were probably really big fans of explosive turn 1s, and maybe it's just because I've been put on the back burner from Hearthstone and Magic, well, not so much Magic the Gathering, but mainly Hearthstone, and I'm just kind of sick of early game explosions. I still want to have the game to feel organic. Like, I want you to feel like you can unleash a crazy combo on turn 1. Like, you should be able to use things like Magnet Pull into a Gigaton Punch into a Backstab on turn 1. Like, you should be able to, like, you know, pull someone forward, knock them all the way back at the end of the stage, and then hit them in the back while they're there. I want stuff like that to be a thing. I want creative actions like that to be justified, which is, you know, fine. But I also don't want people to lose a quarter of their health with one hit on turn 1 with one card. So that's kind of where we are with EX. So that's going to change. And then obviously there's a couple of UI tweaks as well. But aside from that, there are actually plenty of other cards that I want to see make it into the game. You probably noticed that, like, one of the smaller cards that I had earlier was that little safety cube and safety block, and that block basically prevents things like aggro from taking over, which when you see some of the other cards that I have in mind, suddenly it makes a lot more sense. But yeah, those safety blocks are pretty bulky. They do have 250 health, so they soak up some damage. But anyways, exiting this now and talking about kind of what's next. What do we need before we get into alpha? So the first, there are effectively 4 or 5 things that I really, really want done before we go any further. The first thing is I really want custom controls. I want people to be able to remap their own keys and eventually use this little options button over here. But I just haven't got around to it. I am actually working on it. Well, almost now. I have EX to do first, and then I'll be working on that. But once we add custom controls, I want players to be able to, like, cycle their own cards, you know, pick which button does what, and I want other controller support as well. So currently, like, fight sticks work because you can pretty much assign it to, like, any button, but I want to have it so that in game you just, you know, pick whatever button you want to use. If you want to use a GameCube controller, fine. If you want to use a mouse and keyboard, that's fine. If you want to use a fight stick, fine. And then eventually when we do touch controls on the mobile version, of course, that'll be fine too. So it shouldn't take me no longer than like a couple of days, but it's still there. It's a problem that, like, I haven't addressed yet. And then I guess the biggest thing, aside from, like, adding more cards as well, which is one of them, I do need to add more cards, and I want to show you guys some of the stuff that is planned. But another thing is I need a patching system. So it's not so much an issue when it comes to alpha, but just for future builds, I don't want people to have to re-download it every single time. and I'm looking into patches right now, and I think I have a solution finally, but it's just something that has I've been putting on the back burner as I'm working on this game. A lot of my focus has been on content and less structure, and obviously I have to work on the structure to get the game out. So once a patching system is finally open, I will be sending everybody that first wave, if you will. And then the other thing is palette swaps. Colors are important, and I have successfully done one palette swap, but it hasn't turned out well, and it's been really heavy on the memory aspect of things. So if you basically what I ended up doing was I ended up making an entirely separate rendition of T-dubs over here within a different color, and I've been looking into different solutions, and I found a way to effectively change like the texture of little T-dubs here. So eventually you guys will be seeing more palettes, but doing a mirror match every single time and everyone is mint all the time is really annoying. So I want to have different color palettes available for you guys, and they'll be past probably like my first wave might just be like generic colors, but knowing me, I'm probably gonna have at least like 15 colors from the get-go, and there'll be more than just changing your helmet color. Like I have one that's probably gonna be modeled off or like one color scheme that's based off of an M3 because that's just the kind of person I am. So there will be different color schemes and palettes, and expect a lot more palettes coming along the way as well. But I definitely need that taken care of before we start, because I don't want everyone to be mint all the time because it gets a little confusing. So let's see. So those are like, I get another thing, sound effects. I definitely need sound effects. While we're on that note, Micah's my sound guy, we've been remixing and remastering a couple of tracks. He also was kind enough to make me a couple of new tracks. But yeah, sound effects are something that we've been working on. I just haven't had them programmed in the game yet. So I have a separate folder of sound effects, and I've just been waiting to put them all in. So that should be done shortly, but that's still something that needs to be taken care of as well. On another note, here's a little preview of what Micah has come up with lately. We've noticed that some of the tracks have been a little darker, so we've been coming up with a little bit more energetic music. So just some of the stuff that we've been doing. But yeah, so those are things that need to be taken care of before the alpha is set. And if we're looking at a time frame, I said earlier that I wanted to get everything taken care of in probably around like mid-June. There's actually a Mega Man Battle Network marathon stream that I think it's like Team Battle Network. They and their little cohorts all do that, and I have a slot over there which I'll be demonstrating a couple of things. I'll also be doing some playtesting. So I don't know if I'm going to use an audience member or a Kickstarter backer yet, or if I'm going to be using one of my own personal friends. I'm not sure yet. It kind of depends on how far the build is. I will definitely notify you guys on the Kickstarter when that's happening, though. I might even take a Kickstarter backer. That would be really fun, actually. But anyways, so that's kind of where we are. A couple of other things that I'd like to happen and that should happen. I definitely need the website finished. I have been working on the website, but the problem is whenever I update the website, I update my game way more than the site, and then it becomes obsolete, and then I go back and edit it, and it gets kind of annoying. So I'm working with that. It will 100% be done before the alpha, because it needs to be done before the alpha, probably because I'm putting my download link on there. So that will be there as well. But yeah, going on to other news now. I do want to talk about my wonderful backers and kind of where we stand now as far as reward tiers and how that's going to work out, and kind of monetization of the game, publishers, and kind of more technical things. So the first thing is let's talk about pricing of the game. So I actually am going to move this to a pay-to-own model. I'm honestly not quite sure how that's going to work out for my own personal wallet, but that's fine. I will support the game for as long as I humanly can. So it is going to be a pay-to-own model, and what that means for you guys and for the backers who have kind of effectively gotten like free-to-play type credits, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be shifting a lot of things around. So let me talk about that first, and there's another thing that's going to be shifted. But the first thing is going to be the credits and how you're going to be compensated for that. So basically, what's going to happen is you will be first off, the people that are just like going to be like beta testers and stuff, they're just going to get the game, simple. But for the people that have gotten extra things, like my super crazy awesome alpha testers with a bunch of extra credits, I am planning on doing a couple of extra Kickstarter exclusive skins. So that's like a huge thing for me. I'm going to be doing I'm also going to be contacting you guys individually as well for some of these things, and I'll explain why in a bit. But I'm also going to be giving you guys the ability to unlock everything from the get-go if that's what you guys want. You don't have to take it if you're one of those completionist type people. I'm also going to be giving multiple key codes for different platforms, so if you want to play this game on mobile, then you can do that as well. Do bear in mind that all of the saves here are local, so there is no server that your content will be saved on. So if you wanted, if you wanted to play on mobile and you wanted to play on PC, they won't link. So that might be a good chance for you to like have a completionist version and a non-completionist one. If you're just on the go and you want to like have all the cards available, then I'll do that for you guys as well. And a couple of other things, I am in the following week or so, I will be opening up a Discord server for all my Kickstarter backers to join. For now, it's going to be Kickstarter exclusive, and eventually, as the game hits alpha and beta, it will open up. But the purpose of this Kickstarter, the purpose of this Discord is for you all to contact me about what you want to see in the game and how you want to impact it. And it's going to be a way for you guys to collaborate with me. That being said, I have noticed that the scope of this project is obviously small, and the audience of this game is also small. I have made the decision to make every Kickstarter backer in here an immediate alpha tester. So what that means for you beta guys is that you'll join in, but for my alpha guys, especially the alpha guys that have put a lot of money into this, you guys, I am going to PM, and I want to see how you personally want to be compensated. Whether that means, hey, I want to add specific cards in my game. For you, Mr. High Tier backer over there, you know who I'm talking about. For the people that have done a lot and, adding a card isn't enough, if you want to add a feature into the game, eventually I'm going to have other modes as well. If you want to help me create other modes or have a skin dedicated and created by you and things like that, I'm more than happy to be open with things like that, because it's going to be a growing process, and I don't want to feel like I'm skimping you guys because I just made alpha available for everybody. I want you guys to feel like you directly contributed to this game as well. So I will take like card art submissions. I want extra like backgrounds for like the battle scene instead of just like that normal loading thing. I want to have like a space background. I want to have one that said warning and it flashed, and then some extra like bright backgrounds. So like if someone's an artist or if you guys want to take part in that as well, you're more than welcome to. Obviously your name will be in all of the credits as well here too. If you guys create any cards, I will definitely give you the credit for that as well. But yeah, I want your input. There are other game modes that I want to add as well, and maybe we could talk about that. But the Discord is going to be for you guys to let me know and to give your input on how the game is headed. And I check Discord daily, so it would be an excellent way to contact me and just have a conversation with me. If you guys want to chill or hang out, then I'm more than happy to do that for you guys as well. Just know that by the time alpha hits, it will be open to everybody, so it'll be some time of exclusivity with me, and kind of see how that design process is going to go. In other news, I will also give you guys, all of my alpha testers, some extra access to a couple of other things. You'll be given everyone will be given a mobile build who's an alpha tester, and you'll be testing the alpha mobile version, which will probably be around beta. That sounds weird. You'll be testing the mobile version around beta before anyone else gets the chance to. So there will be a bunch of other stuff I'm going to give you guys. That being said, I do want to talk about the schedule and time frames and kind of talk about that more, and kind of give you guys a confession as well. So I almost quit this project entirely. I almost put it on a permanent hiatus because things were just not working out, and it was through the support of a select few people that kind of brought me to keep going and keep doing this. And Not only do I want to thank them, but I wanted to let you guys know because you deserve to know exactly what's going on with this game. Thankfully, everything is going incredibly well now, and I just felt overwhelmed. I was dealing with school, a lot of changes in personal life, and things at work were not going where I wanted to go, and the last thing I wanted to think about was a video game. So, thankfully I got everything sorted, and I had this crazy burst of energy to just program like mad, and as a result, we have this product that you guys see now. But I want to be honest with you guys, when school starts up again in the summer, so probably like toward late August, expect my production time to slow down a lot. School is definitely going to take priority, and I hope you guys understand that. But the goal is to have alpha ready, so while I'm in school, you guys should have the alpha to test and critique and offer feedback, and I'll be checking that feedback, and when there is time to code during breaks and during my off time, then I will take all of that into account as I work towards beta. You guys probably know that I'm huge into lists, so actually we can take a look here. I keep all of my tags and my lists and all of that as well, and actually you can see my little hiatus thing over here. Like, I was actually about to quit, and I wrote a script and everything on Pi Day. But just know that, again, during summer, I am going to be slowing down, but that does not mean by any means I'm going to quit, because I spent way too much time and effort, and I don't think I've spent any blood, but I've definitely spent sweat and tears on this thing. So just know that that's kind of, where we are right now. I guess while I'm here, I can show you guys some of the cards that are going to be available and kind of give you an idea of where this game is going. So every card on here with a 1 are things that I plan on adding before Alpha gets in. So I'm adding a Lifesteal card for aggressive decks, because why not? I wanted to make board control, like actual board control, important, so you can have cards like Russian, where you you basically like dash forward and tackle somebody, and if you successfully land a hit, actually I don't know if I want to do if you successfully land a hit, but the idea is that you steal a tile as you dash forward, and I might just make that like, depending on balance, and this is where you guys come into play, depending on how the balance goes, I might just have it where you can knock somebody back and steal a tile, or just, no matter what, you always steal a tile, or you only steal a tile if you hit somebody, so on and so forth. Shockwave is a wide sword type card where you only steal if you hit somebody, and it knocks them back. So like, it's a control card. And then there are other like high power cards, like just a crate. Crazy hitboxes are also something that I plan on exploring, so like an X-shape attack. I'm having a tri-wing shaped attack, and so on and so forth. So to kind of give you guys a little more creative tools to play with. A card I didn't put on here is going to be, I don't know what I'm going to call it, like a data swipe probably, but it's going to be a 1 or 2 tile long attack where if you hit somebody, you steal their card immediately. So like, it just kind of goes in. There's a bunch of support cards, like the slow gauge, fast gauge, barriers, things like that. And then there are a couple of other things, so I don't know if I'm gonna I'll add like the basic, I finished this one. I'll add like some of the basic cards on here, but I'm definitely not gonna add a turret yet. I'm not gonna I might do a flame tower, but like, there are some of these cards that they just take a while to make, so just for time purposes, I'm probably not gonna do them. Like, I don't know if I'll have the SMG. The SMG sounds kind of broken too, for what it's worth. Maybe I should put it in here because it's broken. I definitely want to add Misfire, so thank you to that guy, because he had the craziest idea. And it's ideas like this, guys, that like I'm not going to be able to come up with, so I 100% want your feedback in. But one of the big things that are eventually going to be added in the game before Alpha are secrets, or trap cards, depending on how you want to play it, or counter cards, but I am going to call them tactics. So tactics are going to have these little exclamation points on top of your head. You can only play 1. It's kind of like the anti-cards, like anti-damage and things like that. But you can kind of see what they're like. Some of them, I'm probably not going to make Trans Am, because that sounds broken. Giving someone free EX for 1 hit sounds busted. But yeah, like there are some simple ones, like where you just dodge. Like it's a free dodge. But then there are other ones like download, where you steal someone's card if you get hit and it absorbs the damage. I'm probably not going to do Equalizer. Equalizer is Pain Split from Pokemon, but if we've ever played Pokemon, Pain Split's some bull. I was going to curse, but I shouldn't. And then there's a couple of other ones, like Retaliate's a cool card where you get that EX damage boost, where you get the plus 30 on all of your hits for the next turn. That actually kind of spawned from this. because EX was busted. So like I have some interesting ideas. Landmine's a cool one because since the game is really board control heavy, it damages somebody if they advance on it, or if they advance while you have landmine open. So a couple of ideas that I have going on. The next video I'm going to show you guys is probably going to be actual gameplay of playtesting. It's gotten to the point where it looks less like a tech demo and more like a real game, and I'm incredibly excited. But just know that there might be bugs, but the next video is just going to be my buddy and I just playing the game and messing around and so on and so forth. But anyways, guys, that is pretty much everything. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, check your PMs. So I am sending a private message to every single backer on here. That is your chance to send me your own personal thoughts and feedback, and if you agree or disagree with anything, that's your time to let me know. Expect that Discord channel to be opening up very soon as well. Actually, it might be coming in with that message, so keep an eye out. But thank you guys for your support and your time, and you will definitely be hearing more from me. So, deuces.